Hi, my name's Joe, and I'm working with Soma, specifically part of Soma Music, and we're just trying to reinvent or rethink or try something new with what we're doing with church music and the music that we're using in what people call worship in our gatherings. We're using a lot of electronic bits and pieces. We're using some stuff that you'll usually find in maybe studios or maybe some indie clubs and stuff like that. But I think this is stuff that's all very valid and very awesome at creating some really compelling music. So far we've had great response, and we're still very much learning how it all works within a church context, but I'm personally really excited about what it's doing. So it'll be good to show you what we're doing with sampling exactly. That's what I'm hoping to focus on in this video, and it'll be great to get your thoughts if you've got any. But let's get straight into the tunes. So again, I want to focus specifically on how we're approaching sampling, the use of bits of other music and readapting it so that it works within our songs. I'm not going to play you any full songs here. Probably it won't even really sound like our full sound because Matt, our other keyboard and electronics guy, is not here with me. So you'll just be hearing my side of things, and this is a really simplified setup of what I've normally got going. I'll just explain the gear quickly. This is my GT6. This is actually a guitar effects processor. I've had this since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and it's just served me really well. I don't really use it for a lot. I just usually switch between these two effects, which is clean and crunch, and then I use this to turn on some delay. But what has become really cool about it is that it's also got MIDI controls on it as well. So there's a couple of pedals here that send MIDI signals. You got this control pedal and this expression switch, which if you press down on that with your foot, then it triggers a message, and you can use this to set levels as well. So the first song that I'm going to play to you is by Mark Peterson. This is his CD, When We See You, and Mark's original version of Never to Hunger is fairly Coldplay sounding. It's quite anthemic and quite a stadium rock song. We've sort of turned it into a bit more of a it's not really hip hop, but it's got a bit of a cut up funk feel to it, I guess. And so let's just fire up the bass loop, the basic loop rather. This is what the song kicks off with, and there's a little synth loop. This is all synthesis and programming that's done inside the unit here, but the actual sample that we bring in halfway through the song is triggered by my GT6 here. So that's quite basic. We have some keys going and stuff like that as well when we actually sing the song. But the actual sample that we've got going on, if I just play it by itself, you can hear it's got that cut up sound. We actually did some of the cut ups inside the system. If I just play it straight, then this is what it sounds like. It sounds a lot straighter without any of the edits put in there, but we just kind of we needed it to just be refashioned a little bit just to fit the ebb and flow of the lyrics and what was going on with the melody. So we cut it up there, and I just did some automation. I just punched in. I'm using Audio Mulch here. That's the software program, and it's a little bit geeky. If you have a look over here, you can see there's schematics and all kinds of things. Most software like Ableton Live or MainStage, Apple's Logic MainStage, is a lot simpler. But what I've got happening here, I've just been using for a long time, and so I really enjoy it. Let's go over to the original sample. Now, that drum break that we're using is by a guy called Bill Withers, and the track, like all good dirty funk, is called Kissing My Love. It's from an old record back in the 70s, lost in the sands of time, as it were. This is what it sounds like. Which is pretty different, but it's got that awesome 16th note thing happening, and it's just got a really good tight vibe happening. So I really like the sample, but as you can hear, we sped it up a lot. And then if I turn the edits back on, you just get a bit of a different atmosphere happening off it, but it's still got that intensity of the guy sort of really going for it on the hats, but with that real space between the snare and the kick. So it's a lot of fun. We've also made it a bit busier as well by adding some delay. That's the other thing you can do on there. So there's effectively a lot more notes happening there. So that's what we did with that track. I'll jump over to the next one, which is by a good buddy of mine, Michael Morrow. You might have heard his song We Belong to the Day, and a number of others that he's done, like Nothing But the Blood of Jesus, which was on a couple of Emu albums, and numerous other tracks. He's written a whole lot of ones. His album is somewhere on here, I'm sure. Up here. That's his album, Lift Up Your Heads. Highly recommended. And I'm going to play a song off it called Jesus, I Will Look to You, which is an awesome song. The opening loop that we used is, I'll be straight up and confess that it was very directly inspired by Fortet's My Angel Rocks Back and Forth. It's got a very heavily compressed drum sound with a lot of reverb, so you got that breathing in and out kind of feel to it. The actual drum sample that we use in the loud bit of the song is fairly shameless. It's by Led Zeppelin, and it's When the Levee Breaks, which is one of the most sampled drum breaks of all time. But we decided to make it sound a little bit different. We slowed it down a lot, and we've tried to make it interesting. So this is what it sounds like. It's very spaced out. There's a lot of reverb in there. It's possibly even more atmospheric than we originally intended it to be, but it's got a nice vibe. There's actually no melody in there. There's a few that I can switch on, but you'll have to go and listen to the song and try and imagine how it all fits together, or you can come and visit us at Soma. Either way. So that's a very straight usage of a drum break, but we've just tried to give it its own character by adding reverb and slowing it down a little. And it gives it quite a somber, a reflective atmosphere, which I think is really befitting of the lyrics, which are also very reflective. So it's a good song. I've found it personally to be very encouraging. The final song that I want to pull up is well known to many people. It's a revised and reworked version of the hymn Take My Life, which appears on Garage Hymnal's second, technically, album, which is a project that's got many good people in it, and they've attracted many good songwriters over the years. Yeah, Take My Life is great. What we originally had happening was we were using a loop like this, which worked really well, and I was playing guitar and we had Matt playing bass, and it had a good vibe, but the guitar was just making it feel too ordinary, shall I say. So it builds up to this feel. This over here is my electrode, and this is all synced up, so oops, gotta find the right patch. Here it is.